What's up? It's Weekly Metal Reviews. It's Tyler and Zach. This time we're talking about Thy Art Is Murder's new album, Hate. It has a picture of a big three-headed dragon eating everything on the cover.
Yeah.
So, just came out just a week ago, right? Or
a week or two ago, I think.
Yeah.
It's their second album.
Second full-length album, yeah.
Yeah. Behind their first album was called The Adversary, so this is their new one. And yeah.
I think this band went with an approach I see a lot of deathcore bands doing these days. Like, if you listen to this and then like Whitechapel's new album, you can see similarities. It's very more solidified than say The Adversity is, or whatever it's called. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's definitely some technical parts in here, but this album lacks at least doesn't do as much thrashy, really fast technical riffs, finger fretting, all that jazz as much as their EP or even second album, in my opinion. But it's very crushing. This is a very heavy album. If you like stuff like Whitechapel, if you just like Whitechapel, you know what I mean when I say that. Check this album out because you'll love it. Very heavy guitars. The drumming, I don't know if it's good drumming, don't get me wrong, but like I said about the other things, it's not on par with their later albums. But I still think this is a great album. It's very heavy. I enjoyed it. I love everything this band has done. I think the vocalist on this is awesome. I know they switched vocalists at one point. I can't remember when, but he did a good job on that. But yeah, not to bag on the drums, but they really fit. I didn't mean to bag on the drums before with that last statement, but they definitely fit the guitar work on this album a lot more. I think the guitar work is better produced than their past stuff, because you can tell like a lot of the riffs are easier to listen to and whatnot. But it's still a great album. I enjoyed it. It's definitely I'd probably say this is their best album overall. But yeah, the musicianship is good. It's a heavy album. I haven't been able to check out the lyrics yet, so I can't tell you on that kind of stuff. But overall, I think it's a really good album.
Yeah, this is a pretty strong album. If there's one band that I can really compare this to, that this album sounds like, because I feel this album is just a step up in every way from the first album. And I honestly couldn't really get into their first album, but then this album came out and I was just kind of floored. I was surprised as how really good this is. But there's one band that can really compare this to, it's Fit for an Autopsy. Just the vocals are a lot like Fit for an Autopsy to me. Just how low and guttural and the range, and just even the high screams kind of remind me of Fit for an Autopsy. And just overall, the band's sound is just a lot like Fit for an Autopsy. If you like Fit for an Autopsy, I think you should really check this out. I feel that this album, Hate, as the album name and the cover art really just kind of describe this album, of what it's all about. It's a very dark album. It's very brutal. It's very fucking in your face the whole time, and it's just one of those solid deathcore albums that the guitars, like Zach was saying, are really heavy. They're very catchy riffs, some catchy breakdowns. And there's some very heavy and fast parts, like more of a death metal influence, and I really like when deathcore bands can kind of mold both deathcore and death metal together.
I second
really,
that. That's the best.
Yeah, and just it really creates just a really crushing thing, something that's not boring. It's not just a breakdown the whole time. It's got its upbeat death metal parts with the blasting, which is good, and all that stuff. And this album is just overall a gigantic step up for this band. It's better vocally, it's better instrumentally. Everything about this album is really, really good. Is this probably going to make my top list? maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But it's definitely worth your listen if you're into deathcore and death metal. And like I said, bands like Zach said, Whitechapel. I think if you like Whitechapel, you'd really dig this. Or I Declare War, Fit for an Autopsy, like I said, you know, Molotov Solution. Bands like that. If you're really into that stuff, this is right up your alley. And I really, just right from the get-go, this album just really is in your face and it's very aggressive from the start, and I enjoyed it. It's a very, very nice listen for a deathcore album.
One thing I think this band does well is just their whole entire theme is just, I mean, generally all deathcore bands, in my opinion, well, I'd say like 75% of them go for a theme that's just like really dark and really like just disgusting and trying to be evil and heavy and whatnot. You get what I mean. And I think this band, with their theme overall, with, I mean, like their album art and everything in between, I know the lyrics on their past few albums, they definitely do that very, very well, a lot better than a lot of other bands in their genre, if you ask me. It's just, when you listen to this album, you can feel like just a very, very dark feeling over the whole entire album. It's very heavy, and they're just one of the bands that do that well, in my opinion, in the scene.
Yep.
So, what would you give this album?
8 out of 10.
I'd give it an 8 out of 10 too.
Yeah, this is a good album. Definitely check it out. Thy Art is Murder, with their new album Hate. So we can
Subscribe.